Hello there, welcome to the Learning Pro Live. My name's Cath Ellis, and today I thought I would do a short stream and talk a little bit about how to look good when you go on a virtual meeting. I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of people reaching out to me saying, how do you do this, Cath? What kind of equipment do you use? So I thought it'd be worthwhile having a little chat and talk about some of the equipment that I use and some of the tricks that I use to go live. And it's very, very effective. So again, I'm live. So if you've got any questions, let me know where you're tuning in from. Just drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey going live, what kind of equipment you're using. In a nutshell, there's really 4 things that you have to think about when you're going live. The first thing and the most important thing is your microphone. Now, I'll go into detail in a minute. I'll just go through the things that I think are the key things. The first thing that is important is your microphone. If your microphone sounds bad, then you're less likely for people to tune in and listen. So that's the first thing that I suggest you look into. The second thing that's important is lighting. Okay, it doesn't matter how good your camera is, if you don't have good lighting, the camera is not going to be exposed properly and give you a good look. So the third thing is your camera, right? So the things that are most important: microphone, lighting, then your camera. And last is if you want to use software to enhance your picture. So sometimes, remember, when it's going through a product like Zoom or Teams, or even out to YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, you might want to use some software to put some LUTs or put some enhancements onto the image. So I thought I'd just do a quick rundown on some of the equipment that I use. Now, if you're interested in joining in this conversation, I'm going to turn the interview function on. So you're welcome to go to the learningpro.live, join, and jump into this conversation with me. I'd love to have a chat with you. So will you dare do that? So some of the things that I've done is over the last few years, certainly since the start of COVID, I think I've made a few mistakes. I haven't thought about the equipment properly, and I've jumped in and I've purchased a few things. And I think it's well advised to think about things before you purchase. Do some research. But also, since COVID has come along, some equipment have advanced. So, for example, my microphone. I've had my microphone for a number of years. I was using a Blue Yeti. That's a great microphone. But I was finding I had a lot of background noise. I had a bit of fan noise from my computer at the time. And I was using software that was a little bit complicated to override that. I was using something called Voice Meter Potato. So I was using this software, and it was, very complicated. If I messed up with it, I was needing to go and get tech support. So I have now moved forward to using an XLR mic, okay, with a piece of hardware called a Rodecaster, which allows me to add noises if I want to, add music in the background. I can bring a phone call into my stream. Now, the key thing that I've learned is I think this technology is great, but you really don't need to have this kind of technology. You could literally buy a lavalier mic from from anywhere, from Amazon, for $10. And the key thing that I've learned is the better sound you'll get and the less likely you'll have for noise is getting the microphone close to your mouth. And this is really important because having it close to your mouth, yes, you're more likely to have, I'm trying to believe it's explosives, your P's and your B's, but you're going to get a nice, cleaner sound and less likely to have outside noise. So it doesn't need to be a very expensive piece of equipment. Try and get your microphone as close to your mouth. So that's the first thing that I've learned. Now, I have invested more in equipment because it allows me to do voiceovers and things like that, and my audio is sounding nice and buttery. And when I go live, I can add flourishes, I can add audio and things like that. It's like I've got a full-blown mixer here. So that's the first thing that I've learned about audio. So it's not a big investment that you need to do, but try and get your microphone closer to your mouth. The second thing that I've learned is lighting. I bought a number of webcams over the years. I had a Logitech 920, which is a great webcam, and I would see results on YouTube that look fantastic, and I'd be like, why can't I get my image to look the same? And let me know, I know you guys are tuning in, let me know your experience with some of this stuff. How's your audio? How's your camera looking right now? What do you use? I'd love to know what you're using. So my Logitech 920, I thought, maybe it's just the Logitech. I don't know. I can't believe these people are using webcams. And it was my birthday. This was a few years ago. And I asked for a Brio. I was asked, what do you want? I'd like a Brio. And put in the Logitech Brio. And it was even worse than the Logitech 920. So the thing that I learned was I wasn't lighting myself well. Okay. And so this is why I think the second thing that's most important is lighting. So let me just turn this off. So I think that it's really important that you consider lighting as your second most important thing. I learned that having a camera, so I only use one light right now. I really should have a second light. So you can see I'm actually quite well lit on this side, but I'm not as well lit on this side. However, it's okay, for what I do, it's fine. So lighting actually was something that I bought with a DSLR. Okay, so since COVID has come along, I upgraded my camera. But that whole thing that I learned in this whole journey of testing equipment, I wish I had known from the start, because I actually wasn't lighting my webcam properly to get this look. Okay, so I got my microphone close to me, sounding better. I got a light, and I got a DSLR. Now, is that necessary? No. So what I'm saying is, I would try testing, even if you don't have. So this is an Elgato key light that I'm using. Even if you don't have that, you can put a lamp on you. Okay, you could put You know, you could diffuse it with a piece of paper over it, or a piece of fabric over it. But from Amazon, you can get lights for next to nothing. They're very, very cheap. You know, but the thing is, some of these things are really bulky and really big, so you need to have space to have lights on you. So I use this Elgato key light, and I use an app on my phone. I'm going to show you, and I can actually manage the brightness. So if you could see here, I'm getting lighter. Okay, so I can manage this, and as well as I can choose to go with a more cold color, or I can go with a darker, with a more natural color. So these things are, you know, really great, especially digital ones. You know, you can have it really work for you. So lighting is really important. It doesn't matter what camera you use. If you don't have the right lighting, it's going to look naff. Cameras have changed, certainly since COVID has come along. We all actually carry a fantastic camera in our pocket. Some of us are even carrying something that's 4K, right? This is just my iPhone. So since COVID's come along, you know, it's not just been webcams. In fact, webcams have gone a bit mental. I could probably sell my webcam now for more than what I bought it for. So my journey was getting a DSLR. So what happened with Canon and with Sony is they released a plug-in, or, you know, just a downloadable virtual camera. What was it called? Canon. Need to do a little search. I think, was it Canon virtual camera? Yeah. Webcam utility. Right, so Canon Canon offered a webcam utility, which allowed you to plug in a variety of different cameras and make them turn it into a webcam. So with a dummy battery, you could literally turn on a camera, and it was working with most new Canon cameras, and old as well. So I bought the cheapest mirrorless camera, which was a Canon M50. And this is where you need to do research. I found now that my Canon M50 only broadcasted out 720, which is fine, because, you know, Zoom is 720. But so that's what I used. And I used a nice Sigma 16mm lens, which has a 1.4 shutter, and that gives me that nice depth of field. So that was the investment that I did. Now, did I need to go that way after having the Logitech Brio? No, I didn't, because the Logitech Brio will go out at 4K, and this is what I mean. There's different things that you can do, but this is what this is what I have been using. I've recently upgraded to a new camera that's come out, which is a Sony ZV-E10, which is a nice small camera that I can literally throw in my bag if I want to take pictures around, and that's shooting out at 4K, which is great. And I think it's certainly made a difference going live. So there's different options that you can do. There's been lots of talk online about, what people, so if you have bad audio, would you be likely to listen to a video? I'd say no, it turns me off. Audio's your most important thing. So, you know, if you've got a decent you know, amount of money in your budget, get yourself a nice wave mic from Elgato, or there's a Shure MV7 that's great. I'm using a Shure SM7B, which is a nice buttery mic. Makes my audio sound bearable to listen to. I hate my voice. But like I said, a lavalier mic will work. If you've got a mic that you use on a camera, even that will work well. Lighting, even if you're just using lamps, or you place yourself in front of a window, don't sit with your window behind you, because that blows out your background. So if you can try and you can try and actually do you can, sorry, I'm laughing because Cara North, who I absolutely adore, has she's just asked what camera gives me a facelift. You're too funny, mate. You're lovely. What are you on about? So there's a few, actually, so this ZV-E10 has a really neat function. I don't know if I can change it while I'm live. So it has skin softening, and I haven't got it turned on, but let's see. Let's see if I can turn it on. Hang on. No, I'll turn it on for the next one. But this one has actually skin softening, Cara. Am I out? Have I turned something off? Oh, there. I thought I did something. Yeah, so you can actually turn skin softening off, and it will, yeah, it'll kind of, this is a great camera for, see how it's gone blurry? I've turned something off. Hang on one second. There you go. I don't know what I did. I turned something off. Not seeing the back of the camera. But this actually has a really neat function that you can soften your skin if you want to. But yeah, I think anything that manipulates the camera a little bit. Yeah, so there's things that I think people will bear when you're watching videos. What do you think, Cara? Bad audio certainly turns people off. Next is, you know, you're more likely to watch a video that doesn't look that great but sounds good than really bad audio. What kind of camera do you use, Cara? Oh, thank you very much, Cara. Let me know what camera you use. Or jump on and have a chat with me. Even though yeah, so basically, Cara's saying audio is king. Absolutely, audio is king. So you've got good audio, you've got good lighting, you've got a good camera, okay? So Cara's using a GoPro Hero 9. There you go. Again, another great camera. And you can see what cameras you've got around now. And certainly if you start doing some searching on YouTube, you'll find people who are using, unless it's quite an old camera, you'll find people who are using these tools, and you'll be able to see what plugins are available. I'd love to hear what kind of cameras you guys are using. For me, when I have a client jump on a call, it is the first thing that people say, wow, your camera looks amazing. You know, your lighting, is that a virtual background? You know, things like that. And that's great to hear, because it's really about first impressions when you're jumping on with a client. Okay, Cara also uses the Logitech webcam. And did you find it hard to get your settings right, Cara? So Sony have, if you have a Sony camera, if you have a Canon camera, you're likely to be able to plug your camera in to be able to use it as a webcam. If you buy a dummy battery, you can, I've got mine mounted here on top of my monitor. I just turn it on and I'm good to go. Cara's saying, so hard. It auto focuses all the time and it's a hot mess. Yeah, very, very much a struggle with the webcam Logitech. You sometimes have to turn it off auto focus to get it looking right. But that means that if you start moving back and forth, see how this camera's got auto focus on it. Like I can literally put something in front of the camera and it will focus. Yeah. Logitech struggles with that. And even getting your colors right. So that's the next thing I was going to mention. So you can use, so see how I've got these little things on the screen, like my logo, the bar across the bottom. You know, when I'm jumping onto a Zoom call, I might do something like this, right? And, you know, if I have to step away from a Zoom call, I might do this, right? And I tell you what, it makes people gasp, you know. It's just so nice to especially if you're waiting for people to join the meeting, to have something like this. It's just a level of professionalism. And these are just made in Keynote. And I'm going to do some tutorials on how I've done all my animations, even like this little lower third with my name. It was all made in Keynote. And it just adds that little flourish of professionalism, I think. And you can use software. So there's a couple of different types of software that I use. One is called Ecamm Live, which is the one that I use. And the second one is OBS. Now, I'm going to keep this video quite short. I'm not going to go on too much. But I wanted to just talk about these different things. And then I thought I'd go into more detail. So I'd love to know from you guys what cameras you're using, what microphones, and, you know, and so I can basically do some live tutorials and show you some of the software that I'm using and some of the animations that I've done. I'd love to know if you're interested in that, in learning a little bit more about OBS or Ecamm Live. So drop your comments below. And Cara's asking, your lighting is warm. Do you use a ring light or something else? So I'm using a Elgato key light for my lights. Most of the time I have a USB headset for a microphone, but if I'm presenting or something else, I have a Yeti. That's great. And you can get great sounds out of all of these. I think the key is getting your camera up as close to your mouth as possible. Right, so I'm going to sign off. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And I wanted to make this a quick one. And we will continue this conversation on Wednesday. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I will talk to you soon. Bye.